Are you considering bottle feeding your baby? In this video, I will discuss the potential risks and benefits of bottle feeding and how it can affect breastfeeding success. 1. What are the risks and benefits of bottle feeding my baby? Bottle feeding is a convenient and efficient way to feed your baby since it allows you or another caregiver to quickly and easily provide formula. But there are certain risks associated with bottle feeding too. One of the main concerns is that introducing a bottle too early can lead to nipple confusion, which may negatively affect breastfeeding success. Additionally, when feeding from a bottle, babies may gulp down milk more quickly than they would if breastfeeding, increasing the risk of overfeeding and potentially causing abdominal pain or discomfort in some babies. 2. Can I still breastfeed if I bottle feed? Yes, breastfeeding is not an all-or-nothing proposition, and it is possible to breastfeed while bottle feeding. The key is to make sure that the baby continues to receive enough of your breast milk even when bottle feeding. To do this, you can try expressing some of your milk ahead of time and storing it in a sterile container for later use. If you are supplementing with formula, be sure not to overfeed your baby by giving too much at once. When breastfeeding and bottle feeding together, it's also important to pay attention to how the baby responds so that you can adjust the amount they are getting from both sources as needed. 3. How can bottle feeding affect breastfeeding success? Bottle feeding can have an impact on the success of breastfeeding for a number of reasons. Firstly, when bottle feeding takes precedence over breastfeeding in early infancy, it has been documented that babies may become accustomed to the faster flow rate of formula from a bottle and not be able to adapt as easily to the slower flowing milk from their mother's breast. This often results in babies becoming frustrated while breastfeeding or refusing to breastfeed altogether. 4. Are there any special considerations for bottle feeding or transitioning between breast and bottle feeding? When transitioning from breast to bottle feeding, or bottle feeding exclusively, there are few important considerations. For example, introduce the bottle in a comfortable environment for the baby and make sure that they are relaxed and calm before attempting to feed them with a bottle. Make sure to use slow flow nipples that are appropriate for your baby's age and development. Try different types of nipples until you find one that works best for your baby. There is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to bottles and nipples. As well as trying different nipple shapes. Try varying the angle of the bottle during feeding so that it is more similar to breastfeeding. 5. Is it essential to find bottles that mimic natural breastfeeding motions as closely as possible? Yes, it is essential to find bottles that mimic natural breastfeeding motions as closely as possible. This will help ensure that bottle-fed babies do not miss out on the important benefits of breastfeeding. Bottles with a wide nipple shape should be chosen, and they should also be designed in such a way that they allow the baby to suck, swallow, and breathe in an efficient manner, just like during natural breastfeeding. It is best to avoid choosing bottles with fast flow nipples, which can cause babies to take in too much milk at one time and choke or gag. When transitioning from breast to bottle feeding, try using bottles with variable flow rates so that your baby can adjust without feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. 6. Are there any tips or tricks to ensure I properly care for a baby who is both bottle and breastfeeding? Yes, it is possible to successfully combine bottles and breastfeeding. Here are some tips. Make sure you are comfortable with both methods. You should feel confident when it comes to expressing milk, preparing bottles, and breastfeeding your baby. If you need help or advice, don't hesitate to ask for it from a doctor or lactation consultant. Time the bottle feedings around breastfeedings so that your baby isn't overly full and won't be too eager to nurse at the breast. Watch for signs of overfeeding when using a bottle, such as spitting up or vomiting after feeding. When introducing a bottle, start slowly by offering just 1 ounce at a time. Try to have someone other than yourself feed the baby. This person can offer an alternative source of comfort and will also be able to monitor how well your baby is taking the bottle. If you need to use a formula, look for one that has been fortified with DHA and ARA. as these are essential fatty acids found in breast milk that help support brain development in infants. 7. Should I talk to a doctor before making any decisions about how to feed my baby? Yes, it is always important to consult with a doctor or healthcare provider before making any changes to your infant's nutrition. It is especially important if you are considering introducing bottle feeding alongside breastfeeding and want to ensure that both methods of feeding are being done correctly. Your doctor can help advise and answer questions about how best to balance the two for maximum nutrition for your baby, as well as provide helpful tips for successful breast and bottle feeding. They can also explain any concerns you have about either method of feeding along with possible solutions. Additionally, they may be able to refer you to a lactation consultant who can provide more in-depth information on breastfeeding techniques and strategies. We've seen that bottle feeding can compromise breastfeeding success in some cases, although it doesn't have to be a barrier. Whether you plan on exclusively breastfeeding or supplementing with formula, the important thing is to make an informed decision and do what works best for both you and your baby. If you're considering bottle feeding, please reach out to your healthcare provider for more advice. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please leave us a comment below if you have any questions or thoughts about this topic. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you next time.